This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Gunner Diamond. Welcome you to a brand new month of Sports Catastrophe videos, and this is Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. The birthday boy for today, March the 1st, is a current NFL wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, who also played for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a college football star at Oklahoma State. He was a return specialist, but then became a wide receiver. He's known as Cheetah for his speed. He's won a Super Bowl, and in his 8 seasons in the league, he's been to the Pro Bowl every time. So he's number 10 in your programs if you're a Miami Dolphin fan. He is Tyreek Hill, who's now 30 years old. Tyreek Hill was born in Douglas, Georgia, and attended Coffee High School. He was a All-American track and field selection for high school in 2012. He went to Garden City Community College in Garden City, Kansas to run track and play football. He did quite well. He was a recruit from JUCO, or junior college, and Oklahoma State decided to make him hit a good player, all that. So anyway, Tyreek would make his debut for the Cowboys and make 6 passes for 62 yards. He would do quite well. And he returned a punt for a touchdown against Oklahoma, December 6, 2014. Unfortunately, 5 days later, things would crumble as he was dismissed from their football and track teams because of his arrest and guilty plea for domestic violence. So he only had 1 season with Oklahoma State and had accumulated for over 1,800 all-purpose yards and 6 touchdowns. He was second in return yards in the nation. Anyway, Tyreek Hill did find time. He went to college for the University of West Alabama. Anyway, a lot of people said after 2016 he's going to be undrafted because of his domestic violence arrest. And he was not invited to the NFL Combine. Well, Tyreek was selected by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 5th round, 165th overall, making him the first player from West Alabama to be drafted in the NFL since 1974. The Chiefs were criticized because of that domestic violence thing. However, the GM said he needed consent from the Chiefs owner to do so. Hill was given a 4-year, $2.5 million contract, rookie contract. He was made to be the Chiefs' starting return man, punt and kick, and 4th on the wide receivers list. All that. He actually made a touchdown catch in the Chiefs season opener against the Chargers. He would do quite well with the Broncos, against the Broncos in Week 12, as he returned a kickoff for a touchdown. He ran for a touchdown and caught a touchdown pass. So he's the first player with a kick return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown since Gale Sayers in 1965 when he did that 6-touchdown offense for the Bears against the 49ers. He was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. He did well with special teams. He was named to the 2017 Pro Bowl as a return specialist. A lot of people thought that I've seen his better days, but his second professional season, he was more as a wide receiver. 75 catches, 1,183 yards, 7 touchdowns. And got to the playoffs with the Chiefs, but lost to the Titans in the wildcard round by 1 point. Regardless of that, his 2018 season, his 3rd season, he got 12 touchdown catches and led the team in receiving yards and TDs. He did pretty good in all of that. He got to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots, which the Pats won that game in overtime in Kansas City. He was pretty good in all that. There was an ongoing child abuse investigation. Fortunately for him, things got cooled to a head and he got a 3-year, $54 million extension. In the season opener against Jacksonville, he injured his shoulder, but he found out he had a dislocated sternoclavicular joint by the clavicle. So he made his return in week 6, catching 5 balls for 80 touchdowns. Anyway, despite all that, he got 7 receiving touchdowns. The Chiefs won 12 games and got a first-round bye. Against the Texans, he got 3 catches for 41 yards as the Chiefs beat the Texans. And then against the Titans in the AFC title game, he got 5 passes for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then he would have 105 yards receiving in the Super Bowl against the Niners, getting his Super Bowl ring in Super Bowl 54, sorry. So in the COVID shortened season of 2020-21, he did get 15 receiving touchdowns, which was pretty impressive. He got 172 receiving yards in the AFC title game against the Buffalo Bills, and had 7 catches for 73 yards as the Chiefs fell in their attempt to repeat as champions, losing to the Buccaneers 31-9. Anyway, 2021, he started out quite well and all that. And he tried. But in 2022, the Chiefs decided to trade Tyreek to Miami for a 2022 first-round pick, a 2022 second-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks, and a 6th-round pick in 2023. Which was huge, that Kansas City would get all these draft picks. Miami would be desperate. Well, Miami gave him a 4-year, $120 million extension. Hill made his Dolphins debut against the Pats in Week 1, getting 94 receiving yards. He had a 190-yard receiving game in Week 2 against the Ravens and 2 touchdowns. So he looked pretty good. He pitted his career highs in receptions and receiving yards with the Dolphins. 119 catches for 1,710 yards, helping the Dolphins get to the playoffs, losing the wildcard round to the Bills. In 2023, he got 7 passes for 157 yards and a touchdown in that famous 70-20 win over the Broncos. He actually became the second player in Dolphins history to get a touchdown in 6 of the team's first 7 games during Paul Warfield. All that. He was actually given 1,000 receiving yards by week 8, which actually made him the first player in the Super Bowl era to do so. He didn't slow down, though. He caught 119 catches in the 2022 season for 1,799 yards and 13 touchdowns. The receiving yards is a Miami Dolphin record. He led the NFL in receiving yards and tied for receiving touchdowns. So in his 8-year career with Kansas City and Miami, 124 games, 10,139 receiving yards, and 76 touchdowns. Although he had 7 rushing touchdowns and 5 return touchdowns as well. In the postseason, he was to the Super Bowl for 2020 and 2021. Played in 15 postseason games with 6 touchdown catches. He still owns the Chiefs' record for receptions in the season, 111 back in 2021. Receiving yards, 1,479 in 2018. And touchdown catches with 15 in 2020. He owns the Dolphins' record for receptions and receiving yards in a season. So he looked pretty good and all that. So, anyway, he actually had a wife with 3 children together, and then he married someone else. All that. Hill's house in Florida actually caught fire when one of the kids actually was playing with a cigarette lighter, which triggered the blaze. All that. Of course, Hill was arrested for assault on Crystal Espanol, his assault, and all of that. And that's why Oklahoma State basically dismissed him. Fortunately, though, Crystal did not lose the kid. And there was a child abuse investigation that said that, it was actually found out that his son's arm was broken by accident, and he was bracing for a fall. So anyway, Tyreek Hill will be a good wide receiver. His off the field actions are going to be justifiably judged. But the fact of the matter is, he's a big spread threat for the Miami Dolphins, and don't you forget about that. Anyhow, I'm jumped on into